From the beginning of time, the place was made ready for us. That is where God wanted us to go, to accomplish all of the good things in life.
For over a century, the ages-old way of life in this valley has been threatened. Profiteers and government agencies alike have ignored the rights of the Native Americans, who are the first inhabitants of this land. Today, the people of the Klamath are discovering that they can't stand up against these forces. They are gaining one of the most important elements of their heritage, sacred lands of their ancestors. In a remote corner of northwestern California lies the Valley of the Klamath. Thousands of years before the first Europeans set foot on the soil of North America, there are native people already on this land.
From the beginning of time, the place was made ready for us. Then we were led there and told us exactly what rocks to go to for different prayers. There's a place where the doctors dance, and there's places where the men pray to become good boat makers or to be lucky gamblers and lucky hunters. There's a spot left for all the different kinds of prayers, and it was always there, way before their people knew of it. It is told, nothing's written, it is just told that that is a place to go. That is where God wanted us to go, to accomplish all of the good things in life.
With the coming of the whites, the people of Klamath, like most Native Americans, lose the lands of their ancestors. Their language, customs, and religion are also abused. In the 19th century, the very existence of the Indians is threatened by invented history. Gold is discovered in California, and it doesn't take long for a rough and ready miner to reach the Klamath. In their search for precious metal, miners tear down the hillsides along the Klamath with high-pressure streams of water. Many of their mines are on the site of old Indian villages. Much of the Indians' lands destroyed, their ancient traditions desecrated. To survive, many must now go to work with the white man, laboring in his mines and cutting down the forests where the Indians' ancestors hunted. In the 1920s, Karuk Indian named Lou Wilder go to work for the logging companies.
When I was a logger, there was plenty of timber. You could see timber far as the eye could see. I logged in Oregon from high peaks, and the distance was nothing but solid timber. You know, in about 10, 15 years, there wasn't a stick of timber left there. They got faster equipment, hired less men. Now it's worse than that. They want to take it out as fast as they can. So, I don't know, we're going to run out sooner or later.
By the 1970s, a shortage of big timber combines with stiff competition from imports and high interest rates to put both Indian and white loggers out of work.
When I come here in the 1960s, the mill running full blast, 2 shifts a day. That put a lot of people to work up here. Your loggers and your mills, that's all the work there was in this country.
By the mid-80s, over 17,000 lumber workers in the Pacific Northwest will lose their jobs. Many Indians are among them. At the mouth of the Klamath is one of a handful of lumber mills still operating.
There used to be about 12, 14 mills around before more. If we was to lose this mill, this employment, it would, affect these people right a bit. They've got homes here, their lives, and families and everything, and they wouldn't lose that.
Most loggers feel that our natural resources should be grown and not tied up and just have to stagnate. I have to agree with them that we have this type of timber growing land, you should use it to the best advantage for future generations.
But for the Indians, the question of land use is not just a matter of economic survival. It is also a question of saving the very core of their ancient traditions. In the heart of the timberlands of the Klamath, top mountains known as Chimney Rock and Doctor Rock are a sacred prayer site used by 4 different tribes. Balancing the need of the various groups who use the high country is the job of the U.S. Forest Service.
We have concerns from fishermen, we have concerns from timber companies, we have concerns from Indians who practice religious ceremonies in this area.
When I was little, I was the carrier to a great Indian medicine lady.
Earl Aubrey is former chairman of the Karuk tribe. His life is one deeply rooted in the land of his ancestors.
From this spot here is where the medicine lady sits to say her prayers. From the top of that medicine rock, there is another monument upon the hill where the medicine lady is looking at when she is saying the prayer. That's a signal point for prayers that echoes back to the main Medicine Mountain, what we call Dr. Rock.
A builder of logging roads, Grant Hillman, the Karuk Indian, caught in the middle between economic survival and the need to set aside special places in the high country.
Our people that got out, we have to take care of things. And I think it's that way, Dave. We can't overdo it either, because you can't stop progress. It just isn't in the books, I don't think. The country is for everyone. We can't set aside the whole country, but we want our religious sites preserved.
The Indians' prayer sites will be threatened by the building of one particular road. It is started in the 1930s as a firefighting road, section by section over the years. The Forest Service works to complete the Gasky-Orleans Road, better known as the Go Road. Logging companies see it as a vital link between the timber-rich valleys and the mills on the Pacific coast. In 1974, only one stretch remains unfinished.
Right here, we're at the end of the existing Summit Valley section of the Go Road, which was constructed in 1974. It leads us to the Chimney Rock section, the last remaining section of the Go Road, which would complete a 75-mile route.
The Forest Service produces a slideshow to outline their plans for the road's completion.
The finished Go Road would be a multi-purpose access road for timber, fire control, recreation, and administration by the Forest Service. In the case of the Chimney Rock project, the route alternatives for the road are in or near a Native American territorial area. Many citizens have voiced their objections putting any new road or rebuilding the existing deep road through this area. If it becomes apparent that no road should be constructed in this area, all present plans to build will stop.
The final section of the Go Road would cut through the mountains just below one of the Indians' most important religious sites, Dr. Rock.
It's a great feeling. When I was there, you about 6,000 feet in the air, and where their prayer seat is, I just felt like I was floating along. You looked like it was just floating along there.
I think it's in every one of us to want to be near God. Every nationality has a mountain that they go to. They have it in China, they have it in Japan, every country. Everybody goes to the high summit of things. I guess it's because it's the purest place to be. So we made it a business to get there.
I don't believe that it's true that the Forest Service puts an undue restriction on Native Americans or anybody who has the right to use national forest.
All right, honey, over here next to Dr. Rock. You Ranger, come on over here next to Jimmy Rock. Good God, what happened?
As the Go Road controversy builds, a local theater group stages a play with characters representing the principals in the real-life drama. A Forest Service ranger and a lumber company executive are pitted against an Indian and a private detective who try to stop them from building a secret road through the sacred high country.
As for stopping this road, it's out of the question. Don't you see? Without access to this timber, Carson will pull out of California. We're talking about 5,000 jobs. Who do you think you're helping? Aren't people as important as trees? I shall let her take you out.
They wouldn't have stopped the road. We've been building this thing in bits and pieces since the 30s. Ken, Georgia and I wouldn't have an impact. You can't kill the Forest Service. That's policy.
When the public find out about this...
Oh, don't make me laugh. The public wants this road.
How do you know? Did you ask them? Did you file an environmental impact report or have a public hearing?
I'm afraid you're not very familiar with our timber harvest policy. You see, this here is a national forest, and we're its managers. Now, there's 1 billion board feet up here.
And America needs them.
If they open up that road through there, well, then there'd be a lot of work, probably 200 or 400 more men. If they don't open that up, that timber will just stay there for years.
On the trail to Dr. Rock, Cook Indian Lou Wilder walks the unfinished section of the Go Road.
Dr. Rock is where you go to medicine or you become a doctor. Well, let's say like you're going to college, you do your final exam. When you pass that, you were okay. We've got it all right here. You won't need much more, a little something to eat. We'll eat fine that. Yeah.
What would happen to this if they ran a road?
No, this road disappeared. They cut all the trees there. That's what the road is for. This timber.
Can you imagine what this would look like down through here if this were paved?
Yeah, all done. The timber already gone, your beauty's gone. Yeah, it's all right.
Amongst the Indians that I know, it's a small minority that are talking about their sacred grounds and the rest of those things. An awful lot of them, they've grown up and worked in the woods and thing and other and never been to Dr. Rock or anything. And really, when I've talked to a lot of them, they're not concerned one way or another.
They were challenging the tribal Indians here on the river to the right of existence. Without our mountain, our whole tribe will crumble. The Great Spirit won't accept us the way that years and years and years ago. We will never give up the ride to the mountain. We will never stop worshiping it, no matter what happens to it.
In the early 1970s, a coalition of environmental and Indian groups begins a decade of protest and legal action. They petition the Forest Service to protect the sacred sites in the high country. Despite their efforts, by 1982, most of the legal avenues are exhausted. Volumes of public testimony against the road have no effect. Now its opponents try a new approach. They sue the Forest Service in federal court, claiming that the Go Road will do irreparable damage to the practice of the native religion, a right guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution.
It involved religious use of an area that was presently being done, and the government's plans were going to devastate not only the area but practice associated with it. It's a clear violation of the First Amendment under standard American law. This story could best be told by having the elders and those who believe in the area and practice there go right into court and tell the judge exactly what the religious practices were, what the activities that were being proposed due to those practices.
Our medicine woman prayed for the lawyers. She prayed for all the people that spoke there, for them to say the right words and the right thing comes up to the judge.
The judge was integrous. He didn't want to listen to anybody, and he let it be known he didn't want to listen to anybody. In fact, nobody figured that any Indian had any chance to get through to him.
The trial made a complete turnaround. Unquestionably, the testimony of the elders in court, their ability to present their story, be able to let the judge see what the religious practices meant to them, how they used the area, and what it meant for future generations. I think that got across to the judge. In fact, I'm sure it did.
When Leonard Brenner testified that the judge had a tear rolled out of his eye.
We go and intercede and say, help our people, Dr. our church, our cathedral. That's why that I would drag up the dead and walk on help.
Well, I got to understand. He says, what is Dr. Rock? And I told him what Dr. Rock was. He sat up and he listened, and he said, I wish I could go to Dr. Rock. I said, it would be a wonderful thing, Judge, if you went to Dr. Rock. It would sure do you good.
To the disbelief of many, the judge rules in the Indians' favor. For the first time in U.S. history, Native Americans win a major land dispute with the government based on their First Amendment rights to practice their religion.
I had seen the decision, and we called up the court to see if they'd tell us to verify what this report was telling us. We actually believe it. None of the other attorneys in town believed either. To tell you the truth, it really was quite a surprise. But
I think that this was a big breakthrough for a judge to listen to us.
It's a victory for everyone that's walking the face of the earth. It's a victory for every nationality.
in any part of the country, you will find a very, very religious area on public lands. This will allow them to at least precedence, legal precedence, for saying you can't disturb this particular area because it is part of our living religion.
For the people of the Klamath, the Go Road victory becomes a symbol of how they can stand for themselves. Now they see that they have more control over their lives and can assert their right to the sacred lands of their ancestors.
We have a better chance dealing with different agencies now, because now, like Forest Service friends, they do have to deal with us. Before, they just thought they had to deal with somebody else. So that's a real important step, that we can handle our own affairs now.
Barely a year after the Go Road victory, the Indians' determination to assert their rights is again tested at Off-Field Mountain, an important religious site for the Karuk Indians. White construction work tells the tribe that ceremonial areas at Sacred Oak Tree are being desecrated by his crew, which is building a logging road for the Forest Service.
They came to my house, and the loggers did. I told them they couldn't go down there. They promised at a meeting at the Forest Service, they promised the Indian people they wouldn't go down there.
Outside the Karuk Council building, tribe members discuss the situation.
Those grounds are protected only by the medicine people that go in there. Nobody else is allowed to live off the ranch. We own that ranch.
It's like turning somebody's done church down, you go down and tear somebody's church up. That's the same thing.
So
That's the center of the earth right there we've got now.
Yeah, that's true. You're gonna get that, yeah.
So if we don't get it now, forget about it. I'll go back to being a Swede.
The Karuk go up to Off-Field Mountain to inspect the damage.
This is sacred acorn trees where the medicine man gathered acorns for the ceremonies and sick people that he preserved over at the bottom of Off-Field Mountain. And here's where they come up and they do their rituals and say their prayers to these great old acorn trees to gather the fruits for the sick, for the weak, for the medicine man while he's performing his rituals in our sacred dances. I've been told that right here was one of the prayer seats It faces the sun as it comes up in the morning and watches the sun down. So I would say that here is where they did the morning prayer before the gathering of the acorns took place, in this spot right here. It is not destroyed.
They're bringing it up here in this church which is don't cut. We come right here, we don't cut right through here. Next time I turn around, that's where it's all cut down. I just like crying because we're going to pay acorns.
This is the place where we gather acorns, and now you see all the trees are being cut down. So I think this place is really all destroyed now by these others. I think they should stop.
I think that if we don't preserve the culture of the people indigenous to the continent, that we are letting down the future generation, and not only of this country, but of the rest of the world. What is more important, a church of a people or so many second-growth trees?
The Karuk asked Forest Service Ranger Dave Peters to halt construction.
If we wind up talking, like we have been, about the entire off-field mountain, the entire area being of high enough significance that you feel it's critical that nothing go on off the mountain, where activities have gone for a long time, chances are we'll have to go to court, or we'll have to some sort of congressional action.
I guess we should go to court.
At the Bluff Creek store, the tribe finds an ally, Phil Smith, a former Los Angeles attorney who helps them draft letters demanding a halt to construction.
The Creek people themselves do not recognize the federal government's authority over their use of their Aboriginal land. The only reason the United States government controls their property is because they're a greater force.
In a meeting which might not have taken place prior to the Gold Road victory, tribe members negotiate the off-field problem.
I'm willing to try and deal and work something out on a local basis of local land issues or land concerns. If we're talking about the whole area, then we are wasting our time, because you're talking with the wrong person in that case.
This is, I'm not going to say trespassing. On our sacred ground is our sacred ground. It's very emotional. I could cry, just like it's a very cheery thing to us.
That's one of the worst damn looking things that ever did. And now you lost that take it down. You can't, nothing up. Of course, forces don't give it done.
Hey, I'd like to work this out, Dave. That's why we're at the table. But there's no give on where's the give? Your objectives are still the same as where you started this sale.
You better start dealing with it, Dave.
I have made what I feel is a very reasonable counter-proposal. The proposal was made by the tribe, which I'm not willing to buy in on at this point. And I made a counter-proposal which you weren't willing to buy in on at this point.
I guess if we communicate anything to you today, our older people are supportive of us. Younger people have come together, and we're willing to take a position, and that is to stand for what we believe in. This is the center of our world. Period.
This is the land that our ancestors lived in, and we have some ties to that land. And we have a problem with timber management or harvest management of the forest per se, but when it comes to our religious areas, yeah, we do. You know, that's they don't want to hear it. I mean, it doesn't fit their area, which says we harvest these trees, and God in Congress gets the right to do it, and we're going to do it. You people, nasty break. You know, you're just nothing.
The real issue in off-field mountain case, in my opinion, is are you going to recognize the Karuk people Aboriginal rights, or are you simply going to give lip service and disregard it as you have in the past?
During negotiations, the Karuk continued to protect the site and set up roving patrols, run by council member Leif Hillman.
I'm just trying to keep honest, though.
Also guarding mountains, General Jacobs Jimmy. He camped out on the new road to prevent further construction. Tribe member Pete Goodwin drives nearly 100 miles a day to bring her supplies.
I've showed my grandchildren that it can be done, and it will continue to be done. At some point, they'll come to realize that they need to go to the mountain and be refreshed, and that's what it is. It's a drink of fresh water.
In the face of the Indians' determined stand, the road builder refuses to complete the job. Finally, the Forest Service orders the area restored, as much as is now possible, to its original condition. Karuk have won their battle without going to court.
If the Forest Service puts an emphasis on dealing with tribe and trying to negotiate fair resolutions to problems at hand, then I think there is some reason to hope for better relations over the long run.
That was kind of a learning process for the tribe, really. It's kind of a hard way to learn, but I think it worked out okay.
So long as there's one Indian living, in my opinion, who believes in the traditional Indian values, assimilation will never work. I think your temperate society will pass on, and it could be the year 2050, and you'll still have Karuk people walking those sacred trails on the Go Road to the beginning of the world. They were placed 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. They'll still do it.
In 1887, the Forest Service made a final appeal of the Go Road case to U.S. Supreme Court. 6 months later, the High Court overruled the earlier decision favoring the Indians. but for environmental reasons it is unlikely that the Go Road will ever be completed. The people of the Klamath have established a powerful model for Native people everywhere who seek control of their lands and their own destinies.
We've subsisted on our land for thousands upon thousands of years, and all we ask is that we be able to subsist again, be able to practice our religion.